enters like he owns the building, and he will leave like he owns the building.
Perspective.
Tyreek could never.
In 2025, the battle for speed took a wild turn. Olympic champion Noah Lyles didn't need a race to silence his rival, just one line. Tyreek Hill, the NFL's cheetah, had been poking at him for months, but when Lyles fired back, the crowd gasped and the internet lit up. It was fast, sharp, and left everyone wondering how Hill would ever answer. The back and forth began in late 2024 after Lyles's historic 100-meter gold medal at the Paris Olympics, where he clocked a personal best of 9.78 seconds. That made him the official world's fastest man. Tyreek Hill, known as the NFL's cheetah, wasn't about to let that title go unchallenged. With his reputation for blazing speed on the football field, he teased a showdown. By early 2025, the rivalry had spilled into interviews and social media. In February, Lyles won the 60-meter final at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. After crossing the finish line, he pulled out a handwritten sign that read, "Tyreek Could Never." It was a direct jab at Hill, who wasn't competing that day but had been chirping on social media. Hill quickly responded in kind. A few months later, after winning a 100-meter dash at a California track meet with a time of 10.15 seconds, he held up his own sign, "Noah Could Never." For fans, this wasn't just a joke anymore, it was turning into a saga.
Let's go viral, fellas. Let's have fun doing it.
Everyday hustle like we. Everyday hustle like we. Chopping the chicken just for the best. Yeah. I get in that kitchen, I could go to work. I go berserk. Yeah. Go out and get it, secure the city, can't sit on the time.
The story came close to a resolution in the summer of 2025. Lyles and Hill had agreed to race in June, with Times Square in New York floated as the stage. They even told People magazine that the race would likely be set between 40 yards to favor Hill's football explosiveness and 100 meters, Lyles's domain. But just as hype peaked, the showdown was canceled. During a panel at Sport Beach in Cannes, France, Lyles admitted, "We were very deep into creating the event. In fact, it was supposed to happen this weekend. Unfortunately, there were some things, complications, personal reasons that it just didn't come to pass." Fans were crushed, but Hill saw an opening. Instead of racing Lyles, he lined up against Lyles's brother Josephus at another meet, beating him and joking, "Sent his lil bro instead, lol." Then came the memes. Hill shared the classic Homer Simpson disappearing into the bushes gif, mocking Lyles for backing out. Hill has never been shy about smack talk. On Johnny Manziel's Glory Days podcast, he even gave Noah Lyles a Madden-style rating.
That man soft as hell. He's soft, bro, so I got to give bro like a 36.
Respectable.
And the only reason he got 36 is because his speed going to be a 99.
It was classic Tyreek, roasting while also giving grudging respect. He admitted,
I got a ton of respect for Noah Lyles. Ton of respect. But as far as like me like competing against him or whatever, I fucking hate the dude, bro.
That mixture of respect and rivalry fueled the drama further. Meanwhile, Hill kept training and posting results. At the ATX Sprint Classic, he ran a personal best of 10.1 seconds at 31 years old, a staggering achievement for someone who spends most of his career dodging tacklers instead of running in spikes. Then came the moment that lit the internet on fire. On the Speakeasy TLK show, Lyles was asked again about Tyreek Hill. His response was razor sharp. 5 meters on grass, maybe. After that, it's cooked. He can get to a slant depth, and then after that, it's over. In other words, Hill might get an edge in the first few strides, but beyond that, he has no chance against a world-class sprinter. Lyles boiled the entire debate into a single cutting line. The room laughed. The internet clipped it. Fans ran with it. Memes exploded overnight. The jab worked because it was both playful and factual. Sprinting isn't about just one explosive step, it's about sustaining speed over distance. And Noah Lyles had the Olympic medal to prove it. What makes this rivalry unique isn't just the athleticism, it's the theater. Both athletes know how to play to the crowd. From Lyles's Tyreek Could Never sign in Boston to Hill's clapback sign in California, they've turned sprint races into performance art. Every post, every jab, every canceled event adds another layer of suspense, and the fans are hooked. Track and field purists argue that Lyles's times put him in another universe of speed. NFL loyalists swear that Hill's first 40 yards are unlike anything seen in sports. The truth? Both are right in their own way. Hill's 40-yard dash times are legendary in football circles. But beyond that, physics and physiology favor the trained sprinter. Why does Noah Lyles have the edge? It comes down to mechanics and specialization. Tyreek Hill's explosiveness makes him terrifying in the NFL. His 10.1-second 100-meter dash shows he's one of the fastest men ever to put on football pads. But sprinting 100 meters at world-class speed requires years of technical refinement, block starts, drive phases, maximum velocity, and endurance over the last 20 meters. Lyles has dedicated his entire life to that. Lyles' Olympic-winning 9.78 seconds is not just faster than Hill, it's in a different category. At that level, hundredths of a second separate champions from silver medalists. For comparison, Hill's personal best would have placed him outside the finals at most international meets. But that's what makes the rivalry fun. Fans love the what if. What if Tyreek trained full-time in track? What if Noah lined up in cleats on grass? Those cross-sport hypotheticals fuel endless debates. Despite the trash talk, there's respect between the two. Hill has admitted admiration for Lyles' achievements, calling him a dude I respect but love to compete against. Lyles has also acknowledged Hill's explosiveness and entertainment value. Both understand that the rivalry brings eyeballs to track and to football. And that might be the bigger story, how two athletes from different worlds are helping keep the conversation about speed alive. Track rarely gets mainstream headlines outside the Olympics, but thanks to Hill, Lyles has had his name trending multiple times in 2025. Hill, meanwhile, gets to test his speed narrative outside the NFL bubble. At its heart, this rivalry isn't about settling who's faster. It's about storytelling. Fans love the tension, the humor, the mix of sports worlds. It's about an NFL star stepping outside his lane and challenging an Olympic champion. It's about an Olympic champion using wit and confidence to defend his crown. When Noah Lyles said Hill could only beat him in the first 5 meters, he didn't just dismiss his rival, he gave us a soundbite that perfectly captured the entire feud. Hill's explosiveness versus Lyles' sustained speed. Football bursts versus Olympic endurance. Two different expressions of human speed colliding. And fans can't get enough. The rivalry between Noah Lyles and Tyreek Hill is one of the most entertaining storylines in sports right now. It has drama, humor, respect, and above all, speed. From canceled races to meme wars, both athletes know how to keep the spotlight. And with just one brutal comment, 5 meters on grass maybe, Noah Lyles reminded everyone why he's the fastest man in the world. Whether they ever race or not, their rivalry is already legendary. And in a world where sports often take themselves too seriously, sometimes all it takes is one comment to create magic.
Go with the first in the series of the 100 meters, and Iheime looking very strong again as they come through. And a superb running.
At just 15 years old, Divine Iheime has done the unthinkable. The British sprinting prodigy from Oxford has already rewritten the story of what's possible at his age, running faster than Usain Bolt and Noah Lyles did as teenagers. In a sport defined by legends, this young runner isn't waiting his turn. He's forcing the world to pay attention right now. When Divine Iheime ran 10.3 seconds in August 2024, the sprinting world took notice. It wasn't just fast for his age, it was a global statement. To put it in perspective, that time was nearly a full second faster than what Noah Lyles ran at the same age. Usain Bolt? His best at 14 was 10.57 seconds. Divine didn't just break records, he obliterated them. Divine Iheime's time also smashed the U15 world record previously held by Jamaica's Sachin Dennis, who had clocked 10.51.
Well, when I first saw it, I was in utter shock. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was jumping about, running around. I just felt so happy.
In just one race, Divine rewrote the history books. Even more astonishing, that run would have placed him third at the 2024 British Athletics Championships in the senior men's 100 meters event. The 10.3 mark even placed Divine among the top performances in European U18 history, trailing only Teddy Wilson and France's Jeff Arias. Born on the 1st of October 2009 in Radley, Oxfordshire, Divine Iheime has sprinting in his DNA. Both his parents, Innocent Iheime and Nkiruka Anu, were international sprinters for Nigeria. His mother, now his coach, was so convinced of his talent that she helped found the PWD Athletics Academy in Oxford. His mom recalls knowing he was special even before he was born. "When I was pregnant, he kept kicking," she told the BBC. "I knew when he was in my tummy." And she wasn't wrong. From primary school, Divine stood out, and by the time he was 13, he was already focusing on sprinting. His training ramped up under the guidance of his mother and Radley AC, where he built his explosive power and running technique. While his 100 meters run made headlines, Divine didn't stop there. In January 2025, he broke the 60 meters world record for 5-year-olds, twice in one day. First, he ran 6.72, then 6.71 seconds at the BFTTA Indoor Series in London. That shattered the previous record of 6.74 set by Jamie Samuels in 2003.
Oh, Divine.
With these runs, Divine moved into fourth on the UK's all-time U18 rankings for the 60 meters, just 0.02 seconds off Mark Lewis Francis's record of 6.69. Not bad for someone who had just turned 15. The 60 meters times also brought him closer to national age group records, highlighting how his power off the blocks is on par with top senior sprinters. Divine doesn't try to mimic the legends, he builds on their foundation. He's watched Bolt's 200 meters world record race more times than he can count, but his own running style? He calls it unique and natural. I don't try to model it from anyone, he told Sky Sports. I just try my best to slingshot off the bend in the 200 meters and keep going until the finish line. That mix of natural form and fearless execution is what sets him apart. According to coaches, his relaxed upper body and controlled cadence are rare in sprinters his age. Despite his record-breaking times, Divine remains grounded. When told he'd beaten Lyles' youth time, his reaction wasn't one of arrogance, but admiration. Noah is a great athlete, he said. He's given me a lot of confidence to break barriers as I go through my journey. Similarly, Divine has openly said how much Usain Bolt inspired him. Watching Bolt's legendary 200 meters race at the 2009 World Championships was what sparked his sprinting dream. Now, he's the one inspiring a new generation. Divine even cited Allyson Felix as a major influence, admiring her fluid stride and composure under pressure. Divine's story is also one of family. His parents gave up their own careers to support his. His mom, Nenkiruka, spent 9 years in the British military before dedicating herself full-time to Divine's training. His father and grandfather were athletes. His 2 older brothers, Praise and Wisdom, are also deeply involved in sports. And yet, Divine says his biggest goal isn't medals. It's giving back. I want to make sure that in the future, they can just sit back and relax while I can get them gifts, buy them a house, he told the BBC. The goal is to try and make them happy, make them live a great life. He credits his family as the engine behind his work ethic. Divine became English schools champion in 2024 over 100 meters. He also won both the 100 meters and 200 meters sprint double at the English Athletics Indoor Age Group Championships that same year. By August 2025, he ran a British U18 best of 10.29 seconds in the 100 meters at Lee Valley, a European all-time best for 5-year-olds. He's not just fast, he's consistent. From 60 meters indoors to 200 meters outdoors, he's dominating every event he enters. The comparisons to Lyles and Bolt aren't hype, they're based on real numbers. Divine also recently qualified for the U18 European Championships, setting him up for his international debut. Even Usain Bolt has taken notice. In a podcast, Bolt reflected on how early success made his transition into pro racing harder. When I started out, I didn't understand the concept of being great, he said. I would go to meets and I would lose, and I was like, this is strange, this is new. So it took me a while to understand. Bolt's warning? Talent alone isn't enough, it takes work, consistency, and humility, and it seems Divine is listening. With a work ethic fueled by family, faith, and ambition, he's preparing for the long haul. British media has dubbed him the new Noah Lyles. Commentators and former sprinters alike are in awe of his progress. Fans are sharing his clips across social media, and every appearance he makes draws more attention. He's become a viral name in track circles, without any flashy antics. His social media presence remains modest. He's not chasing fame, he's chasing finish lines. And that's perhaps what makes him most exciting of all. Recently, scouts from major athletics programs in the UK and Europe have begun tracking his progress closely, seeing him as a future Olympian. Divine has set his eyes on breaking 10.2 inches the 100 meters and going sub 21 inches the 200 meters. With the way he's progressing, those goals don't just seem realistic, they seem inevitable. He trains 4 times a week at PWD Academy and balances school, family, and an increasingly demanding athletic schedule. More than just a sprinter, Divine Iheime is a name you'll likely hear for years to come. As he matures and enters the senior circuit, expectations will rise, but if his current mindset holds, so will his results. As of September 2025, he is already ranked among the top under 1/8 athletes globally in both the 60 meters and 100 meters. At just 15, Divine Iheime has already done what legends like Usain Bolt and Noah Lyles never did post world-class times before even reaching high school age. And while comparisons are inevitable, what truly sets him apart is his balance of humility, talent, and relentless drive. He's not running for attention, he's running for his family, his future, and his faith. If his current trajectory continues, Divine might not just match the greats, he could become one of them. Because when a 15-year-old breaks records set by icons and still wants to train harder, run faster, and give back more, that's not just talent. That's destiny in motion.
Brilliant start from Omanyala. Well, Lyles are not quite as good as he was in that recall, but here goes Lachlan Kennedy. Could Lachlan Kennedy go under 10 seconds for the first time and take a big win? 9.98 for Lachlan Kennedy.
Lachlan Kennedy just did something that no Australian has done in over 20 years. This 21-year-old runner from Brisbane ran 100 meters in just 9.98 seconds. That might sound like a small number, but it makes him only the second Australian ever to run that fast legally. Let me put that in perspective for you. The last time an Australian ran under 10 seconds was Patrick Johnson back in 2003 with his 9.93 national record. That was 22 years ago. Kennedy wasn't even born yet when Johnson set that mark. So who is this 21-year-old sprinter who just rewrote Australian athletics history? Lachlan Kennedy grew up in Brisbane playing rugby union. He wasn't some track prodigy grinding it out since age 6. This guy was running around rugby fields, playing wing from under 6s all the way up to under 15s, even making Brisbane junior representative sides and playing international rugby for Australia. The switch to athletics happened almost by accident. In 2020, during his final year of school, Kennedy's football coach told him to run in the 4x100 meter relay because he thought Kennedy was fast enough. Kennedy showed up 30 minutes late to the trial wearing $20 spikes and ended up running the fastest time at his school with 11.6 seconds on a grass track. That moment changed everything. Within a year, while still juggling rugby training, schoolwork, and serving as house captain, Kennedy dropped his 100-meter time to a shocking 10.51 seconds. His coach Russell Hanson was working with an athlete who had been doing serious athletics training for just 1 year. But there's something else that makes Kennedy's story remarkable. In 2018, when he was just 15 years old, Kennedy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. This is an autoimmune condition that requires constant monitoring and management. Kennedy has to make around 180 extra health decisions every single day just to stay safe. Kennedy travels with insulin pumps, continuous glucose monitors, blood test strips, backup insulin pens, sensors, and treatments for low blood sugar when he went on his 6-week international racing tour across Africa, Europe, and the US. His medical equipment took up as much space as his racing gear. 2 days before the prestigious Prefontaine Classic in Oregon, Kennedy's glucose sensor stopped working. He had to go back to old-school finger prick testing while nursing a stress fracture in his back and competing against the fastest sprinters in the world. Kennedy refuses to make excuses about his condition. He told reporters, "I don't want to make a big deal out of it. My continuous glucose monitor and my insulin pump help me to have healthy glucose levels, and there are rarely any issues. It was just frustrating and annoying that I was already dealing with an injury and I had this extra diabetes stuff to deal with too." He actually believes diabetes has made him a better athlete. Kennedy said, "I think I live a healthier lifestyle than I would have done if I hadn't developed type 1 diabetes. It forces you to be aware, to think about your body, to be disciplined. That definitely helps on and off the track." Kennedy's progression through the sprinting ranks has been nothing short of extraordinary. After that breakthrough 10.51 in 2021, he made the Australian under-20 relay team in 2022. That relay squad broke a 12-year-old Australian record, running 39.30 seconds. The 2023 season saw Kennedy drop his personal best to 10.24 in the 100 meters and 20.93 in the 200 meters. By 2024, despite an injury-hampered domestic season, he ran fast enough to make the Olympic relay team for Paris. At the Paris Olympics, Kennedy ran the opening leg of the Australian 4x100 meter relay. The team set a new Australian and Oceania record of 38.12 seconds, though they missed the final by just 0.05 of a second. Then came 2025, and Kennedy went on an absolute tear. In January, he equaled and then broke the Australian 60-meter record, running 6.43 seconds to set new senior Australian and Oceania records. That time was the 10th fastest ever recorded in the event. At the World Indoor Championships in March, Kennedy won silver in the 60 meters, running 6.50 seconds and finishing just 1/100th of a second behind the winner. It was Australia's first world indoor medal in the 60 meters.